Hey folks, how we doing? I just messed up the last take, so I was being silly. But this week we are back down into my basement. Don't mind the RC plane in the background. I might actually try to get that built this year. But in the meantime, we did a video, I think probably last week or earlier this week. I'm not sure when the release dates are going to be, about different types of knives. And, well, here's a bunch of different gouges. And I forgot to grab the only one I have that you can pound on with a hammer. So in this one, I'm going to teach you guys the different types, different cutting techniques, stuff like that. Just going to play around with a piece of or a block of basswood. And before we get into it, two other things. First off, when you're doing this, make sure you are constantly focusing on safety. I have cut myself too many times to not harp on it. I've seen too many other people cut themselves to not harp on it. You know, there are different techniques where you might be cutting towards your hand or cutting towards yourself. All right. But if you're going to do that, like, look how much, it'd be great if I could keep that there. But my thumb was right about down here. So that way when I finished, it's very unlikely I'm not going to get hurt. There's that. Where's the camera? All right. Yeah, just like that. So my thumb is out of the danger path. So if my wrist wasn't cocked over like that, I would have gotten the third cut the first time. But, you know, just be aware. Keep your blades as sharp as you possibly can. A dull knife is a dangerous knife because when you're doing this, the goal is, you know, light, fast cuts. Now, I'm not putting much force into this. It's more speed and a slicing motion just to be able to rip it off. And I mean, I'm still getting pretty decent shavings off it. So between the safety, knife choice, we went over in a previous video the different blades of the actual knives. This week we're doing the different gouges, like I already showed you. So with that, I think we're good to go to flip this around and actually get into the gouges. As always, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat below, throw them in the comments below, and I will get to them as quick as possible. If y'all notice, I am fairly quick about getting back to people. I try to keep it to under an hour as long as it's in my time zone or with my weird sleep cycle. The joys of working off shifts and never sleeping right. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to throw you guys to my younger self, and we are going to go over the basics of gouge types, selection, and just the sheer basics of how to use them. There's a couple I'll even tell you when I use in certain circumstances. There's a lot more that I'm sure I don't know yet because I am relatively new to this as well. But that's half the fun of this, is put something out, look a little dumb, find out a lot, and then make another video and throw it back out. So with that, we're going to get it right into it, and I'm going to show you how I did all this to a regular block of wood. Let's go. While I'm thinking about it, so did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos. It doesn't cost you a cent. It helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks. Bye. All right, folks. So this week we are going to be covering palm gouges, scorp knives, and the other knife I didn't cover in our other knife video, the scoop knife. That's one style. These are 2 others. This is 2 different, I'm pretty sure it's 2 different brands. Yeah, it should be 2 different brands. I actually have 3. This is a Beavercraft. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the Elemental. This comes with the kit that I would personally recommend if you want to get started inexpensively. And this is a flex cut. These are for spoons, but we'll get into those here in a little bit. But yeah, so the basics of the different types of knives we see here. Well, those are the knives. This is a scorp knife. It's designed for you to cut kind of like that towards you. You really should have gloves on. Only reason I don't is because I'm throwing this together and don't have a pair down here. So yell at me all you want in the comments. I probably deserve it. But these are really nice. Like if you're getting up underneath somewhere where it's kind of hard to get to. Like imagine this is the top of a dude's hat. Yeah, I don't have a dude down here this week. But you can really use that to move some wood out. And by the way, nobody's asked yet, but this is called basswood. Highly recommend it when you're first starting to learn. There are different blade types. This is just a cheap gouge from Harbor Freight. But it's great because I grabbed a couple of these so you can see the difference. Like that's a spoon gouge. You've got your V cutter gouge. It doesn't have the sharpest tip in the middle compared to some of the other brands, but they work pretty well. And you've got your palm knives, palm gouges. This is a flex cut V palm gouge. These are great for, let me get this where you guys can see it. Like if you want to do a V cut, you can get it in one pass. I usually use these instead of the V cut itself that I showed you guys in the different cut video that I think I'm going to schedule to release tomorrow when I'm recording this, which should be the first one of the series. This one, I don't even remember what this is called. I want to say this is my spoon gouge, but these are really designed to be able to really get down under the wood and really take a lot. This one came as part of a kit. I don't use it all that often. But again, it's just another way to take a rounded cut out of your wood. Like that's a spoon gouge where if this was a spoon blank, this one needs sharpened, and I don't have any of my stuff down here. But it don't look like a lot, but yeah, it takes a pretty thick chip out of there with every pass. Yeah, we covered the V-notch. This is the one I use generally to do the split on the legs on the dudelets that I make. If you watch how to carve a dudelet, I have, actually it's right here. Sorry. That's my gouge tool roll. I have another one just like it for my knives. I also have a few knives in here that are just overflow. So that's a skew knife, and this is, I forget what they called that, but I find this one's not great for anything but really just generally smoothing stuff up when you're done. So it's one of the last ones I grabbed. That's why it's in here, because the last finishing touches are the gouges in here. I keep saying knives. But yeah, so like this scorp knife is the one that drew blood last time I used it on video. One of the key things to remember when you're using a scorp knife, for the love of God, don't do what I'm doing. I just looked over and here's a glove. Wear these. Unfortunately, my main pair is missing, so I gotta go raid a pair, and before I run any classes, I am going to be buying a bunch of extras. All right, that's a V-notch. Here's just a regular old scoop bowl gouge. These are really nice. I do have one. Like especially if you're doing some spoon carving, you can get you can really pull some wood out and keep it looking pretty smooth. Personally, I like to use these as the last step, and that'll take us into our hook knife. Again, this is a slightly different one. I like that it doesn't have as much of a curl as, say, I would use the elemental, as something like that, because it'll really allow you to again, it allows me to keep it a lot smoother and a lot nicer looking. Then you've got hook knives. These are only good for, at least from what I found, for doing spoons, or if you want a nice rounded edge on the outside. Because like I just pulled, you can hit two sides of a handle if you get the right angle. That's not going to work. Sorry, I'm reaching around here, like my elbow's moving the phone, so it limits what I can do a little bit. Plus I'm going off what the screen is, and it's kind of disorientating. But then I'm scared of that one. With not having gloves and trying to do this, I really want them on both, because one slip with this, that curved edge is really going to do some damage. But these will really allow you to be able to pull wood out. It's kind of hard to see with my hands, but let's try the back. Yeah. I mean, there's, like, you can also, I don't want to mess my edge up because it is sharp. I just don't want to cut. And I haven't done this for a while on hardwoods, so that's my hesitation. But yep. But yeah, so I mean, just again, back to the basswood, because this is super soft, easy to carve. I mean, you can see how it'll take chips off like it's like butter. Yeah, so it's all about how you want it. And you, like I said before, you really want to get this nice, smooth, shiny edge to it, because that's how you know you're getting a clean cut. There's also one other tool that I've not used really at all, mainly because I've just not had, you need to be able to clamp your workpiece down, but that is this gouge. They're designed to where you should be able to, let's see if I can get the right angle. press it down in. These take a lot of force. Or if you had a mallet and a way to clamp this, you can also, I'm just going to use my hand for this. Wish I had somewhere I could. All right, I'm going to try to just hold this. Yeah, that's good. That's a lot better. Yeah, you would just take a mallet and just hit the back of that. I mean, you can see how much wood that takes out in just a couple passes. It'd be that. Actually, I think that was one pass. It's a lot rougher of an edge, but you know, to get it, to rough it into shape and then grab a palm gouge behind it, you can really, I'm just going to tear a little wood out of here and then we'll smooth it up. This way you can rip it out, get it up, get that. Yeah, you can even see how gnarly that looks. Where's it at? Then come behind with a hook knife and just try to make it pretty. I mean, you can already see how much better that looks. I'm not trying to make anything right now other than a mess. But, I mean, yeah, sorry. But like I said in the beginning of this, I just wanted to go over some of the basics of the different types of knives that you guys haven't seen. This is everything that I carry in my toolkit for anytime you see me carving at a show or in a video. This is generally just off camera. I've got two of these tool rolls. The first one's full of knives, then this one. And then I also usually have a little tray, which is, let me move a couple things. Right there where I got my glove. You know, I got my little impact from what I was working on yesterday. My drink from last night. But yeah, so with that, and that's the basic tools. I am going to be starting on a carving video series here coming up. It's what I'm getting all this stuff pre-recorded for, so I'm good to go and got a little time. I've been eyeing a few things I wanted to learn. And remember, by the time you see me carving it, I might have only done it like 2 or 3 times before, so things might be changing, or I might find different ways of doing stuff. But really, there's not much more fun in life, at least in my opinion, than just taking a simple piece of wood, a basic knife, and just, you know, whittling away. See what you can unlock from the wood. Because at the end of the day, you never know what's in there until you try. This had a few cuts on it before, but it doesn't take much. This is something that I believe anybody can do, and as long as you can teach, even kids, as long as you can teach them basic knife safety. Once they understand that, get them a pair of cut-proof gloves. I'm sorry, cut-resistant gloves. There's no such thing as cut-proof. And then, you know, obviously, parental supervision. But, yeah, have fun with it. Kick back, relax. I mean, you get good. You can knock out one of the doodlets I make in about 30 to 40 minutes. I mean, I can get them out in about 35 right now. So, And I just do those for fun because, yeah, I'm weird. But with that, I am going to say cat in the hat, dappy dat. See y'all next time.